Okay, is it because of the echo? It's because of the echo. Okay. And we still got an echo. Okay. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Your turn. It's okay. Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Bhagwan Shri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. One more time in this. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Jai. You have. It's the third verse. You have heard it because he does it all the time. But you picked up the tune today. A lot of it there already. Okay. So true. For a while that was keeping me well behaved. It was like, can't have them think of me in a bad way when they say that verse several times a day. Yeah, so we're in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 13th chapter, and our Chaitanya Charitamrita expert, Govinda Prabhu, tells me we ended at text 23 last time, and that it would be really good to start with text 23 again this time. Okay. Yikes. Remind me to tune up. Oh, got that other one in my mind now. This one getting. Anjata Satina Ishvara Mahalakshmana. Okay, it is. Tamrishake Krida Kaya Nibrite Lucia. Do we do reading or just going through? Bengali English, Bengali English. Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, probably, yeah, we're zooming. It's happening. It's on Zoom. So, we'll do some. Okay, we did one. For 15 days, the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the supreme goddess of fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. And there's a tiny purport. The 15-day period of Anavasara is also called Nibrita in honor of the solitary place where the supreme goddess of fortune lives. After living there a fortnight, where Jagannath took permission from the goddess of fortune to leave. So let's go ahead and just read verse 1. Having taken permission from the goddess of fortune, the Lord came up to ride on the Ratha cart and perform his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees. In this connection, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that as an ideal husband, Lord Jagannath remained 15 days in a secluded place with his wife, the supreme goddess of fortune. Nonetheless, the Lord wanted to come out of seclusion to give happiness to his devotees. The Lord enjoys himself in two ways, known as Svakya and Parakya. The Lord's conjugal love in Svakya rasa relates to the regulative principles observed in Dwarka, where the Lord has many married queens. But in Vrindavan, the conjugal love of the Lord is not with his married wives, but with his girlfriends, the gopis. Conjugal love of the gopis is called Parakya rasa. Lord Jagannath leaves the secluded place where he enjoys the company of the supreme goddess of fortune in Svakya rasa, and he goes to Vrindavan, where he enjoys the Parakya rasa. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore reminds us that the Lord's pleasure in Parakya Rasa is superior to his pleasure in Svakya Rasa. In the material world, Parakya Rasa, or loving affairs with unmarried girlfriends, is the most degraded relationship. But in the spiritual world, this type of loving affair is considered the supreme enjoyment. In the material world, everything is but a reflection of the spiritual world, and that reflection is perverted. We cannot understand the affairs of the spiritual world on the basis of our experience in the material world. The Lord's pastimes with the gopis are therefore misunderstood by mundane scholars and word wranglers. The Parakya Rasa of the spiritual world should not be discussed except by one who is very advanced in pure devotional service. Parakya Rasa in the spiritual world and that in the material world are not comparable. The former is like gold and the latter is like iron. Because the difference between the two is so great, they cannot actually be compared. However, just as a knowledgeable person can easily distinguish gold from iron, one who has the proper realization can easily distinguish the transcendental activities of the spiritual world from material activities. Back to Puri now. The fine white sand spread all over the path, resembling the bank of the Yamuna, and the small gardens on both sides looked just like those in Vrindavan. As Lord Jagannath rode in his car and saw the beauty on both sides, his mind was filled with pleasure. The pullers of the car were known as Gaudas, and they pulled with great pleasure. However, the car sometimes went very fast and sometimes very slow. Sometimes the car would stand still and not move, even though it was pulled very vigorously. The chariot, therefore, moved by the will of the Lord, not by the strength of any ordinary person. As the car stood still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees and, with his own hand, decorated them with flower garlands and sandalwood. Let's see, okay, now we're coming into 30. Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati were both personally given garlands and sandalwood from the very hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This increased their transcendental pleasure. The Lord also gave garlands and sandalwood to the performers of Sankirtan. The two chief performers were Swarup Damodar and Srivas Thakur. Did we miss one? It's certainly possible on the phone here. Oh yes, there we go. Okay, so after the verse about where we started hearing about garlands and sandalwood follow, and the next one, similarly, when Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu felt the touch of the transcendental hand of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were very pleased. The Lord also gave garlands, Swarup Damodar and Srivas Thakur. There were altogether 4 parties of kirtan performers comprising 24 chanters. In each party, there were also 2 mridanga players, making an additional 8 persons. So lovely to see. They're organizing their Rath Yatra parade, and we're getting ready for ours. It's so nice to be reading this. They had no sound system. This is the sound system lining up. When the four parties were formed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after some consideration, divided the chanters. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, and Vakreshvara Pandit to dance in each of the 4 respective parties. Swarup Damodar was chosen as the leader of the first party and was given 5 assistants to respond to his chanting. The 5 who responded to the chanting of Swarup Damodar were Damodar Pandit, Narayana, Govinda Datta, Raghava Pandita, and Sri Govindananda. I'm sure they're supposed to respond, and I'm sure they did respond. It's just that they make sure there's a response. Get some singers that they will respond. like make sure that there is a solid response so that it encourages the responders. Yeah, it's first. Yeah. Secondary. So you know. Yes, unfortunately. Yes. It sometimes happens that when you're learning an instrument, you can't handle both. But you should get to the point where you can be beyond a learner and you can still chant while you're managing to do your beats or whatever instrument you're playing. And it's really interesting how it says that these responders are calls them the assistants of the kirtan leader. It's a nice word for it. If I skip a verse because of my technical difficulties, you will remind me, right? Advaita Acharya Prabhu was ordered to dance in the first group. The Lord then formed another group with Srivas Thakur as the chief man. In the first group, Damodar Swarup was appointed chief singer, and the responding singers were Damodar Pandit, Narayana, Govindadatta, Raghava Pandit, and Govindanath. Sri Advaita Acharya was appointed as a dancer. The next group was formed, and the chief singer was Srivas Thakur. It's interesting, these groups each get appointed a dancer. So it's like there's the kirtan leader, a good singer. Then there's the kirtan responders, good singers. Then there's the mridanga players, good mridanga players, maybe so-so singers. And now we have also each group needs a dancer. It's really a nice organization. The 5 singers who responded to the singing of Srivas Thakur were Gangadas, Haridas, Sriman, Subhananda, and Sri Rama Pandita. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was appointed as dancer. Another group was formed consisting of Vasudeva, Gopinath, and Murari. All these were responsive singers, and Mukunda was the chief singer. Another 2 persons, Shrikanta and Balava Singh, joined as responsive singers. In this group, the senior Haridas Thakur, was the dancer. In this third group, Mukunda was appointed the chief singer. The party was composed of Vasudeva, Gopinath, Murari, Shrikanta, and Balava Singh. The senior Haridas Thakur was the dancer. The Lord formed another group, appointing Govinda Ghosh as leader. In this group, the younger Haridas, Vishnudas, and Raghav were the responding singers. 2 brothers named Madhava Ghosh and Vasudeva Ghosh also joined this group as responsive singers. Vakreshwara Pandit was the dancer. There was a Sankirtan party from the village known as Kulinagram, and Ramananda and Satyaraj were appointed the dancers in this group. There was another party that came from Shantipur and was formed by Advaita Acharya. Achyutananda was the dancer, and the rest of the men were singers. Make a comment. Do you want to mic? Yeah. Like the group from Shantipur, the group from Kalinagram, yes. That's so nice. Yeah. Another party was formed by the people of Kanda. These people were singing in a different place. In that group, Narahari Prabhu and Radhanandana were dancing. 4 parties chanted and danced in front of Lord Jagannath, and on either side was another party. Yet another was at the rear. There were altogether 7 parties of Sankirtan, and in each party, 2 men were beating drums. Thus 14 drums were being played at once. The sound was tumultuous, and all the devotees became mad. That's not the way we normally use the word mad nowadays, right? It doesn't mean they were angry. It means that they were feeling beyond rational thought. All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds. As the devotees chanted the holy names in great ecstasy, Tears fell from their eyes like rain. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the three worlds. Indeed, no one could hear any sound or musical instruments other than the Sankirtan. Everything is subordinate, right? We should support the chanting. If the drum is going louder than the chanting, the drum needs to turn down. If the cartels are the only thing you hear, the cartels need to tone it down. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups, chanting the holy name, Hari, Hari. Raising his arms, he shouted, all glories to Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited another mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups. Everyone said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in my group. Indeed, he did not go anywhere else. He is bestowing his mercy upon us. Actually, no one could see the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand. Lord Jagannath was very much pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill just to see the performance. King Prataparudra was also astonished to see the Sankirtan. He became inactive and was converted to ecstatic love of Krishna. When the king informed Kashi Mishra of the glories of the Lord, Kashi Mishra replied, O king, your fortune has no limit. The king and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya were both aware of the Lord's activities, but no one else could see the tricks of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only a person who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand. Without the Lord's mercy, even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma cannot understand. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been very satisfied to see the king accept the menial task of sweeping the street, and for this humility, the king received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could therefore observe the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. It's beautiful. Although the king had been refused an interview, he was indirectly. Oh, there's a purport. Look, I didn't see it. Sorry. The mystery of the Lord's activities is described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Lord Jagannath was astonished to see the transcendental dancing and chanting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he stopped his car just to see the dancing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then danced in such a mystical way that he pleased Lord Jagannath. The seer and the dancer were one and the same supreme person, but the Lord, being one and many at the same time, was exhibiting the variegatedness of his pastimes. This is the meaning behind this mysterious exhibition. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king could understand how the two of them were enjoying each other's activities. Another mysterious exhibition was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's simultaneous presence in 7 groups. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king could understand that also. Although the king had been refused an interview, he was indirectly bestowed Cause's mercy. Who can understand the internal potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was playing the part of a world teacher, he did not agree to see the king, because a king is a mundane person interested in money and women. Indeed, the very word king suggests one who is always surrounded by money and women. As a sannyasi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was afraid of both money and women. The very word king is repugnant to one who is in the renounced order of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see the king, but indirectly, by the Lord's causeless mercy, the king was able to understand the Lord's mysterious activities. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities were exhibited sometimes to reveal him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and sometimes to show him as a devotee. Both kinds of activities are mysterious and appreciated only by pure devotees. When the 2 great personalities, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy upon the king, they were astonished. Is there a word right here? No. Lord, this one, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes. That next. For some time in this way, he personally sang and induced his personal associates to dance. According to his need, the Lord sometimes exhibited one form and sometimes many. This was being executed by his internal potency. Indeed, the personality of Godhead forgot himself in the course of his transcendental pastimes, but his internal potency, Leela Shakti, knowing the intentions of the Lord, made all arrangements. It is stated in the Upanishads, Parasya Sakir Vividaya Shriyate Svabhavika Jnana Bala Kriya Chan. The Supreme Lord has multi-potencies which act so perfectly that all consciousness, strength, and activity are being directed solely by his will. Svetamshvatara Upanishad 6:8. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his mystic power in presenting himself simultaneously in each and every Sankirtan group. Most people thought that he was one, but some saw that he was many. The internal devotees could understand that the Lord, although one, was exhibiting himself as many in the different Sankirtan groups. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he forgot himself and was simply absorbed in ecstatic bliss. But his internal potency arranged everything perfectly. This is the difference between the internal and external potency. In the material world, the external potency, material energy, can act only after one endeavors at great length. But when the Supreme Lord desires, everything is performed automatically by the internal potency. By his will, things happen so nicely and perfectly that they appear to be carried out automatically. Sometimes the activities of the internal potency are exhibited in the material world. In fact, all the activities of material nature are actually performed by the inconceivable energies of the Lord. But so-called scientists and students of material nature are unable to understand ultimately how things are happening. They evasively conclude that everything is being done by nature, but they do not know that behind nature is the potent Supreme Personality of God. Lord Krishna explains this in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Just as Lord Sri Krishna formerly performed the Rasa Leela dance and other pastimes at Vrindavan, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed uncommon pastimes moment after moment. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Rath Yatra cart could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture Srimad Bhagavatam. In the purport, Lord Sri Krishna expanded himself into many forms while engaged in the Rasa Leela dance. And he also expanded himself when he married 16,000-ish wives in Dwarka. The same process was adopted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he expanded himself into 7 forms to dance in each and every group of the Sankirtan party. These expansions were appreciated by pure devotees, including King Prata Parudra. Although for reasons of external formality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see King Prata Parudra because he was the king. King Prata Parudra became one of the Lord's most confidential devotees by the Lord's special mercy upon him. The king could see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously present in all 7 groups. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot see the expansions of the transcendental forms of the Lord unless one is a pure devotee of the Lord. Yes. Do you want to mind? Well, there's someone who might go into this.